You told me that you are an external accountability person. It just kind of furthers this desire and this need and this joy that you get from being around others, but you like to take advice from others and you like to be advised by others and you like them to hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
You told me that word. It must mean something to you. Or that phrase.
Well, also, I am my own worst enemy. And I mean, I might be the only one out there, but if given the easiest path, I'll take it, right? Like the path of least resistance, right? If I don't have someone meeting there, if I'm not going to a class where people are expecting me, the odds are significantly greater that I'm going to hit snooze and say, yeah, I'll take an extra hour of sleep and, I'll figure out a time later in the day. So to have people that are holding me accountable to things that I'm going to do, right? Even little things like I want to read more nonfiction books that are going to make me better. I wish I was in Carrickfergus, only for nights in Ballygrand. I would swim over the deepest ocean for my love to find. But the sea is wide and I cannot swim over, and neither have I the wings to fly. If I could find me a handsome boatman to ferry me over to my love and I.
There he is.
First verse of Carrickfergus.
Brendan Walsh. In the flesh, in the voice.
In the voice, yeah.
So, we've had a few other people open up with a song, a sonnet, if you will.
Okay.
Todd Hohauser did some Shakespeare.
How did I compare to our boy Todd?
You did very well. You did very well. Very emotive. We had Tom Schwartz from Detroit Manufacturing System started out with a little Run DMC action.
Oh, see, that's hard to beat.
So I gotta say,
I don't know.
He's got the cake.
Yeah, for sure.
But you and Todd neck and neck.
Neck and neck. I don't even get like a little bit.
Maybe a little bit better. Yeah, because you're newer.
Okay,
right. You're newer. His is already out, so like we're only getting better.
Just go with a little recency bias. It's fine.
Recency bias. I love it. So you wouldn't happen to be a Robert Cialdini fan, would you? The Brooks.
I'm not familiar.
Persuasion,
no.
or he's a.
I've heard of them, but I have not.
Talks about all of the different biases and how they relate to kind of business life, and actually how grifters leverage our different innate biases to take advantage of us.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah.
Okay. I got to put that on my Goodreads list.
I'll find you a couple links. So, insurance guy starting off with a song.
Not what you would expect.
Not what I would have expected. Yeah, not what anybody would have expected. We did stage that a little bit. I kind of put you on the spot this morning and said, "Hey, you need to start off with a song." So thanks.
Hardly a warm up in anything.
No, a couple of
yeah, just
did some of that before we got
just to make sure the voice wasn't totally dead.
No, it's good stuff. But you did tell me that you sang "Happy Birthday" in the car on the way over to somebody else.
I did. Yeah. So a little warm up for my buddy Ted.
Who was that for?
That was for Ted Rusinoff. Okay. So shout out Ted. Ted actually is probably the number one fan of our podcast. A good friend of mine through the $1 Million Roundtable organization. My roommate when we go to meetings. And today is his birthday.
Oh,
so.
Great. How old is he?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Range it out.
He's early 50s. So, maybe 51, 52. I don't want to overage him.
Yeah, I was going to say, what if he's in
trouble.
his 40s? You just totally.
I could be wrong. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay. It's all good. We're
Sorry, Ted, forgive me.
We're in the upper middle.
I'm in the mid to late 40s. So 47.
40s. There you go. Okay. I'm 48.
Yeah.
All right. So, you do a lot of cool stuff. Interesting guy. We've met through some common friends, some at the Detroit Athletic Club, some through Vistage, and kind of, I would say God and the universe putting us together a little bit here to make this happen. So you had me come do a podcast with you, and the only way to return that favor is to put you in the hot seat over here and have you come over here.
I appreciate having me on.
Yeah, thanks
it's a great studio, super cool space, just very comfortable. You guys are just, I got Daniel welcome me when I walk in the door, got coffee, cold water.
You get to take that mug with you too. That's part of our.
Come on.
We're not quite Sean Ryan. I don't pull out like an enormous gun or anything and present it to you, but everybody gets a coffee mug.
I feel like there's some liability issues if you give someone a gun.
I think he's got some good coverage, so he'll be okay. We don't do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So thanks for being here. Talk about give it a little bit of background of what you do for work. Let's just kind of start there, and then we'll kind of back into the rest of
sure
life and technology and transformations and all the other fun stuff we talk about.
So I own a company called Catalyst Solutions Group. We're a nationwide insurance advisory and consulting firm based in downtown Detroit. It's a multi-generational firm that my father started in the 1950s. I avoided the business like the plague because I didn't want to do what my dad did. Came to my senses about 20 years ago in conversations with my wife, then girlfriend. So, So just got a team of 4 in downtown Detroit. And been married to my wife, Kelly, for 18 years. It'll be 19 in August. We have 3 kids, Elizabeth, Charlotte, and Bennett. Not in that order. Elizabeth, then Bennett, then Charlotte. Live in Grosse Pointe. And grew up in the area, did 4 years in college in Chicago, 12 years in DC, and then moved back in 2012 and have loved being back.
Love it. So, walk us through some of this choir stuff and music stuff.
Yeah. So it starts when I was 8 years old. I distinctly remember this. Memory's a funny thing. If you ever listen to Malcolm Gladwell's Revisionist History podcast, there's a fascinating 3-part episode that he does on memory. But
okay,
I recall, best that I can remember, my mom asking me if I wanted to join the Christchurch Grosse Pointe Choir, to which any self-respecting young 8-year-old would say, no, I don't want to do that. And she said, they'll pay you. And I said, okay. And
little capitalist there, huh?
Yeah. Which I ferreted away. Actually, when we'd get paid, I ran across the street to the local drugstore Shetler's and buy candy and Mad magazines. So I was very thrifty back then. So that was a very pivotal moment in my life. Actually, probably the most pivotal moment in my life that kindled my love for music. It was the reason why I went to Grosse Pointe South High School, because of their music program. Through that, I went to a summer program at Northwestern called the National High School Music Institute, and fell in love with Northwestern. They did not fall in love with me. And when I applied, they did not let me in. A friend at the time was applying to DePaul University. She said, you should come out and audition. And I did. And I got into their voice performance program, which is what took me there. Joined a fraternity there, which got me into leadership with the Interfraternity Council. I went to this conference called the Mid-American Greek Council Association out in lovely Rosemont, Illinois. Mm-hmm. And the organization...
Right next to the airport, right?
Right next to the airport.
I remember staying in a hotel in Rosemont one time and thinking, I can't even believe that there's this many airplanes in the world, let alone that they are just taking off constantly.
So
all day, all night.
So the gentleman who ran that conference was from Bowling Green State University.
You don't want to talk more about the airplanes taking off in Rosemont?
No, I mean, we can.
Rosemont is a wonderful place.
It actually is. They have the All-State Arena. That's where our basketball team used to play for DePaul. It is. I'm out there a lot because the $1 Million Roundtable is in Park Ridge, Illinois, and most of our meetings when we fly in are in Rosemont. So I love Rosemont. Whenever I'm there, I take pictures of the hotel where Kelly and I met. Know a lot of the restaurants around there.
There actually are some really good restaurants.
Yeah.
All right, I digress. I totally interrupted you there.
So that conference was run by somebody from BGSU, staffed it with people who were in the Greek system there, which is how I met my wife.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I can truly, everything goes back to telling my mom, yes, I want to join that choir because they'll pay me when I was 8 years old. So, and now the really cool thing is my kids sing in that choir. It's an unbelievable music program. So yeah, music's still an very important part of my life.
And that church does just so much outreach too.
They do. It's
really powerful.
It's a really special spot. Yeah.
We'll get into that too. But, you want to talk about the move to DC, or do you want to talk about improv? Because I'm just chomping at the bits.
Whatever. Hey, this is your ride, man. You take us where you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, well, it kind of always goes, where it's supposed to go.
Sure.
So, the improv thing, you've brought it up to me a couple of times, and there's two things that kind of always jump out about you to me is every time we interact, I'm always like, is this guy ever in a bad mood? Are you ever in a bad mood?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely, I think anyone who says that they don't get into bad moods or they don't
toxic
have funks.
positivity. Have you heard that word?
Absolutely.
Is that what you are?
No, I wouldn't say that. I just, I am an extrovert's extrovert.
Okay.
And so it is almost impossible for me to be in a bad mood when I'm around other people.
Okay.
Or I'm doing something fun that I enjoy. Right. So, I love talking with people. I love engaging with people. The undercurrent of everything I've ever done professionally in my life is being around people. Whether it's my first job at a grocery store, to an orientation mentor in college, to working for my fraternity, to the lecture industry or insurance, it's always fed. That energy comes from people. So I think part of the reason why you wonder if I'm ever in a bad mood is because when I'm around you and I'm around people, that's, outside of time with my family, I'm in my happy place, right? So, but no, absolutely. I mean, as a business owner, as a dad, you might be worrying about your kids, you might be worrying about your business, you might be worrying about your team. Everybody has down moments. And anyone who says,
I'm just glad we're verifying your humanity.
Anyone who says that they don't, is lying, right? Like,
yeah. But like I said, I've never seen you, not with a grin on your face.
Well, that's because I'm seeing you, man.
I'll take that compliment. Thanks.
But truly, like if I'm ever down, I just need to call the right person or I need to be around the right people and it's going to pick me back up. So
that's great. How has that fed your work life and just your own success, I should say?
What's that?
Like commercially. So, like your personality, how does that play into your business?
Well, I think our business is people, right? I think one of the things that I love about our business is that I get to meet with interesting people on a daily basis and find out about what's most important to them with their families, their wealth, their businesses, their employees, and also what's on their mind, and come up with solutions to help them protect what's important to them or get where they want to go. So being able to be fueled. If I have a day of back-to-back meetings, right? Most people are like, I am exhausted and I am lit up like a light bulb, right? Like I actually need time to come down. Yeah. Because I'll come home and I'll be like, Kelly, you are not going to believe the kind of day that I had. She's like, whoa. I just got home from work too. And she's an introvert, right? So,
okay. So she's like, pump the brakes, mister.
Yeah. Which actually, speaking of books, I'm in a book club through MDRT. And one of the best books I ever read is called Quiet by Susan Cain. Have you ever read this book?
Mm-mm.
Oh, so somebody proposed it. And I thought, I'm going to hate this book. The subtitle is The Power of Introverts in an Exceedingly Loud World. Or something like that. I'm like, why do I want to read a book about introverts? That's going to be crazy. And it was so enlightening. And it taught me so much, not only about myself, but about my wife and about my son, who's an introvert. And, one of the things and how to manage meetings and when you're on calls with people, and especially in the age of Zoom, someone who's not engaged isn't disengaged because they're not interested. They might be disengaged because they can't get a word in edgewise because I'm so excited to talk about all the stuff that's going through my head. Right? Or with Kelly and I, when I'm come home and I'm buzzing and I want to talk to her about everything, not realizing that she just might need some time to decompress. Yeah. Right? Or when I'm thinking about, a perfect example is one of Kelly's birthdays. I was like, I'm going to plan a surprise. We're going to have a bunch of friends out at a bar and we're going to celebrate her. And that's my ideal birthday party. Hers might have been one couple and us at a table that's more intimate. And that would have fed her far more than a room full of people.
Sure.
So
that's great.
Yeah.
I had a guy, have you ever met Kevin Schneiders?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Kevin was on with me, and Kevin, I don't know if you know what Kevin has done. He's become a professional coach. Okay. And I think it was at Oxford, Stanford. It was somewhere prestigious that he got this extra degree in coaching. And he said, I'm going to talk to 2 people a year for free. two executives, whatever, people that come into his life and help them, just coach them, just be a mentor to them and follow the what he learned. And so he was doing some stuff for me. He picked me to do some work with,
That's
which
awesome.
I thought was really cool. And I can't remember exactly how I articulated it with him, but I was basically saying, like, I think I talk too much, and I want to work on that. And he said, "You've already built yourself the plan to work on that." He's like, "You're doing the podcast." He says, "And have you watched yourself?" He's like, "You keep getting better and better at listening."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. So this is my practice ground to sit quiet, not always look to respond. Make sure I write a note if I feel like there's something important."
Yeah.
So I kind of know where you're coming from here.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I mean, it's, there's the whole, the 2 ears, one mouth are there for a reason.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know why God made my mouth so big. So the improv stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think we end up getting to that fully.
So, what would you like to know about it?
Well, I want to know, okay, where did you where did you train for this? Where did you practice this? Where did you do this? And then let's just kind of blow it up from there.
So we did a fair amount of improv work when I was in high school. There was so I went to Grosse Pointe South, and in the 90s they had a group called Second Suburb, right? Clever name. I auditioned every year and never made it, sadly, but learned a lot about improv through that. We did a lot of improv in college in the voice program at DePaul. A good friend of mine, Sean Westfall, does professional improv in Washington, D.C. He was our copywriter when I was at the Washington Speakers Bureau, and he would do improv as training for our team at the Washington Speakers Bureau. And now he has a company that does that and will work with corporations, organizations. He'll come out and do Vistage kind of talks about how, life is improv, right? When we're meeting with someone, we want to continue those conversations. No stifles all creative thought and stops all momentum, right? Like, you want to put a stopper in something, just say no. So thinking about yes and in all that you do, right? And I think improv is just such a healthy tool to be an active listener, right? You always have to have it's not like you have a line that you're going to recite. You're actively present in the moment with someone and thinking on your toes, okay, what's next? Which is life, right? Like, life is improv. We are making this up as we go every day. And I think people to being conscious about it, and continuing conversations rather than stopping them, and just being attuned and aware. And so, I think it's great. I think it's super healthy, and I think everyone should have some sort of improv training. So I can't say I'm professionally trained or anything, but, I've had enough in my life, and I love doing it. I just think it's crazy fun. Like improv, I was going to say,
tell me a couple examples of some really fun ones that you didn't see them going the direction that they went.
Oh, it wasn't one that I was a participant in. When I was in college, we used to go to Second City a lot. They had, so I don't know if they still do it, but after their main stage show, they would have free improv where, people in the audience might leave, and then you could come in, and if there were open seats, you could sit and watch their improv session. And there was one where they had the cast members up, and each one was assigned from the audience a different author, and they had to answer questions in the style of that author. And one of them was Dr. Seuss. And it was one of the funniest things that I've ever seen in my life. And so creative. He's just, talking like a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah.
About the most random things. And it was awesome.
That's
great. Really funny.
So I'll tell you one cool Second City story. So my brother and I used to work together in the computer recycling business. And we had a friend from the Kansas City area, Dan Sudeikis. Well, Dan's Jason Sudeikis' dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So Ted Lasso's dad, right? And George Wendt, Norm's brother-in-law too. So I mean, like, I don't know.
What a comedy family.
But Dan's one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. And so my brother's talking to him, and he was talking about he and his wife at the time were going to Chicago for something, and he says, "Oh yeah, we're thinking of going to Second City." He goes, "Oh, You want to go to Second City? That's great. He goes, I'll call Jason. So Dan calls Jason. Jason calls Dan back, whatever. Dan calls my brother back, right? And says, show up there and just tell him you're a friend of Jason.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So my brother's like, there's like no plans around this or anything. Yeah. So whatever.
And he doesn't know who Jason is, right?
Well, no, he did know. No, of course. Yeah. He knew who Jason was, but he's like, come on, I'm going to walk up to the door and be like, I'm a friend of Jason.
Yeah.
Literally, he goes, it was like Goodfellas. He says, I walk up to the door and he's like, I'm a friend of Jason's. They're like, they walk the table up, put the little lamp. I'm just joking about that, but he goes, it was ridiculous. So I would highly recommend that if you can get Ted Lasso to pull some strings for you at Second City, that you do it.
Also, as a movie fan, that is one of the single greatest single shots in movie history is when they enter.
Oh yeah.
Because in Goodfellas, and they never cut away.
Yep.
It is just a beautiful, people have studied that shot in exquisite detail, and it's really cool.
And plus, it taught us during our dating years, if a girl ever asked you, what do you do for a living? You say, I'm in construction.
Either that or import.
I'm a union delegate.
Or import-export business as a Seinfeld fan. Art Vandalay Industries.
Oh, yeah, Art Vandalay. Yep. That or you're a marine biologist. Right.
That's right. Although you have to come up with, say you're a marine biologist, there's a lot more like science that you have to spout. If you're an import-export, you can fudge things a lot. And
you got to hope that there's no whale on the beach when you're walking.
Right, exactly.
So what did you do when you spent 12 years in DC?
So I got a job there right out of college. So I graduated in 2001, and it was not the best job market, and I wanted to travel. And I found a way to do that by working for my fraternity. So I was a consultant for Delta Kappa Epsilon. So offices were based in DC, and I traveled around the country. I was assigned about half our chapters, and I would visit their universities, meet with the undergraduates, meet with their leadership, meet with the university, meet with alumni. University knows that there's an adult in the room, making sure that they're doing the right thing. So alumni would be fundraising, and it was a really fun job. Got to see the country, got to go east and west coast, south of the US and Canada. It was a very, very neat experience. And then
were you single at that time?
Kelly and I were dating at that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then I was there 2 years. So the second year I didn't want to travel as much. And I did more like internal work. I developed a chapter excellence program. But it was probably a year too long. So I was looking for something new. Got a job. A friend of mine who I had done community theater with in DC got hired as an event coordinator at the Washington Speakers Bureau, and he's telling me about this job. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awesome. So there was an opening. I applied. I got the job. It was a really fun thing where I worked with our clients and speakers to make all their events work. So if, you go to a big association meeting and they want to book Coach K for the keynote address, or, someone in politics, they'd most likely book it with that old company. And so the events would get assigned to me. I'd work with the client to find out, okay, what's the audience like? What's the topic? What do you guys want to have them touch on? Then I'd work with the client to book the speaker to get their flights and cars and all the travel arranged. So I was there for about 4 years. Again, really fun job, but not really a career. And then I hit this career crossroads where I had no idea what was next. Kelly had been talking to my stepmom, who'd been talking to my dad. She said, hey, listen, I think your dad wants to talk to you about the insurance business. If anything happened to him and you didn't, you'd regret it. I was like, well, shoot, that's terribly logical.
Yeah, and thanks for making it super emotional on top of it. I appreciate that, right?
So my dad came to town, and I said, tell me about what you do. And he said, he talked about the impact he'd had on his clients and the relationships he developed over a 30, 40-year period. And so that resonated with me, but still I was like, I don't want to work in insurance. That sucks. But I took a leap of faith, and I started talking to he introduced me to a lot of different independent firms. He introduced me to a lot of big offices. That's where I ended up starting with Northwestern Mutual, and started from scratch on my own. And we're actually in McLean, Virginia. And they asked me and a handful of other people to open up an office on K Street in downtown DC, which is super fun. I was the oldest person in the office, I think, at 29. So, which is wild looking back on it. Grew that like crazy, and then we moved to another space. But what I didn't know at the time was that when my dad referred me to them, he said, hey, I'm going to come back for him in 5 to 6 years. To which my managing partner replied, good luck. right? We're going to do everything.
We're going to have our claws into them.
Exactly. And true to form, my dad and I were at the $1 Million Roundtable meeting in Anaheim in 2012. And he said, how'd you like to come back and join the firm? And so went back to Kelly and talked to her about it. And we thought about it and prayed about it. And we didn't envision living in DC long-term. We just didn't really have an exit strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And then when one presented itself that was that attractive.
I've been hearing a lot lately about the knock. When an employee knocks on your office door and says, got a minute? And you immediately know it's some sort of IT incident. But Oxium IT can help. Whether you're having a problem, need consulting, an upgrade, or a managed IT approach, they focus on preventing cyber attacks and proactive solutions that deliver results. My friend Matt Loria and everyone at Oxium are ready to help before or after you get the knock. Visit Oxium.com and let Oxium IT help you outsmart chaos.
That was the impetus. So that was June of 2012 that I had dinner with my dad, and we moved September 1st, 2012.
Okay.
So
great.
with 2 3/4 kids, my wife was 7 months pregnant with our third child. When we like to package stressful events together as a family.
We're cut from the same cloth then. Yeah. That's what we do. We start businesses when we tear down houses and stuff like that.
Sell a house, buy a house, wife pregnant, change jobs. Yeah.
I know that story. Let's talk about the succession planning, the family business.
Sure.
Kind of all of that, because I know there's a lot of family business people that watch this. Todd Hohauser, who was here, he and his brother took over Harvey Hohauser and Associates from their dad. They do a lot of work in the transition planning, succession planning, especially with family businesses. But let's talk about it from your perspective. You lived it.
Where would you like me to start?
Where the worst? Start at the worst part. Then make it better by the end.
It happened pretty fast. So my dad, so he started in the insurance business in the 50s. He was a lot older when he had me. So my dad was 51 when I was born.
Oh, no kidding.
So I have 3 half brothers, 3 half sisters that are all significantly older than me. The 4 oldest are from my dad's first marriage. And my eldest brother was with our firm. And he left at one point. He actually left to go work with a competitor of ours. And I think it was good for everyone, where I think he needed to get out. He's a namesake, and I think he needed to not be working with his dad anymore. And and I think it was just it was complicated for a lot of different reasons. So after that happened, kind of the dust settled, and then my dad came to me and said, okay, I think I'm ready to talk about a succession plan. And then the more he thought about it in true clone fashion, he's like, yeah, I want to do it, and I want to do it as quickly as possible. I was like, okay. We're part of a group called M Financial. They provided a lot of help and resources in navigating that conversation. But it's the hardest part. I think in hindsight, we definitely rushed it. Like I should have stopped. Okay, like let's pump the brakes. We can take our time and really massage this and get it.
Because it wasn't
right.
done under duress or anything, or a health impetus of a health issue or anything like that.
It might have been age for him. I mean, this was 2015, so he would have been 80. He was 86, almost 87.
Okay. So maybe he was feeling it like,
yeah, it's possible.
I got to do this.
I mean, he always thought he was immortal. He always thought he was younger than he actually was.
How long did he live? Or is he still alive?
He died in 2019 at 91.
Wow.
So it was pretty remarkable. He was a type 2 diabetic at age 65, did not take the best care of himself, and his kidney stopped working in 2013.
Ooh.
He collapsed at a doctor's visit, and they called me in, and I asked the doctor the question I didn't want to ask of like, so what am I dealing with here? And they're like, you might have 6 months. And then he lasted another 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, he did at-home peritoneal dialysis, which is something I learned about, where instead of a blood transfusion, it's a glucose solution through your gut. And he did that at night while he slept. And so it's less invasive. He traveled with it around the world. He went on a cruise in Europe and brought the machine with him, and he would ship boxes of glucose solution in advance. I mean,
no kidding.
Yeah. Oh man, he was a stubborn mule like his mom. So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. So we, the other things that I wish we could have done was, our world's insurance. I wish I could have been able to insure him, but he was too old and too uninsurable, right? I mean, not that we needed to, but when he died, it would have been nice to have a death benefit to complete the transaction. I mean, we were able to do it as part of the cash flow projection, but it would have been great to be able to do that. So, but there was a moment where, my dad was a fantastic insurance advisor and a fantastic insurance salesman. He was a cut from the cloth life insurance guy where if there was a problem, life insurance could solve it, right? And it always would drive him crazy when I would tell clients, like, you don't need us. You don't need what we do. And after they'd be like, why would you say that? I'm like, because it's the truth, Dad. They don't need it. He wasn't a great manager per se, right? So he'd never really thought about cash flow management and how you're running the business. And so, I developed this plan of how we were going to buy him out and what that cash flow projection would be. And a few years into it, he turned to me one time at lunch. He's like, that plan you put together, that was a really good idea. I was like, I'm sorry, can you say that louder for the folks in the back?
Let me get the recorder out too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
did he not dole out compliments?
No, he was very affectionate. He was not like he was not a dad who was like not to give a hug or tell you I love you or anything like that. No, it was just, I mean, it's just with multi-generational businesses, what I found is, the elder generation, they need it to be their idea, right? Even if it's your idea,
sure.
You lay that groundwork and then eventually they're like, oh, I have this idea. And you're like, great, awesome. That sounds like a great idea. We should do that, right? So to have him actually admit that it was going to work, because he was always kind of like a cash in, cash out kind of guy, right? Like commission got paid, he got paid, sweet, awesome. So, it was unique.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Well, that's a great dovetail because you kind of talking about that external validation that he just gave you there. You told me that you are an external accountability person.
Absolutely.
Too, which is, it just kind of furthers the, this desire and this need and this joy that you get from being around others, but you like to take advice from others and you like to be advised by others and you like them to hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
So you told me that word, it must mean something to you or that phrase.
Well, also I am my own worst enemy. And I mean, I might be the only one out there, but if given the easiest path, I'll take it, right? Like the path of least resistance. So, like going to the gym in the morning, right? If I don't have someone meeting there, if I'm not going to a class where people are expecting me, the odds are significantly greater that I'm going to hit snooze and say, yeah, I'll take an extra hour of hour of sleep and, I'll figure out a time later in the day to get a workout in. Mm-hmm. And again, I might be the only one there, but so to have people that are holding me accountable to things that I'm going to do, right? Even little things like I want to read more nonfiction books that are going to make me better, right? But fiction's a lot more fun to read. So I joined a book club through the $1 Million Roundtable. So now 8 times a year, we're reading a book and I've got to read it. And because we're going to get together and we're going to talk about it. And, my friend Ted that I referenced earlier is on it and I know we're going to talk about it. And so I've got a little extra nudge to say, all right, get this done, right? Same thing with being in Vistage and I'm in a study group in my industry. So, it's why I have a coach at the gym. That's why I have weekly meetings with my wife to talk about where things are with the business and where things are with our household finances. It's that extra, okay, here are the list of things that we're working on. Here are the things that I said I was going to do. And, my wife, Kelly, is she's not as much of an external accountability. Like what she says she's doing to herself, she's going to do. Right. Like, so, which makes us, I think, a really good partnership, but, and a really good team. But, I need my feet held to the fire, and I just knowing my weaknesses, like that's a weakness of mine. So the more levels of accountability that I get, the better it's going to be. Right.
Are you innately organized?
No.
Okay.
No. I know where everything is in the piles on my desk now.
Okay. So you're kind of taking this.
It's funny though. Like I am organized in some things and I'm terribly disorganized in others. So it's kind of,
but with all this scheduling that you've kind of even talked about, I mean, you're almost, you're building in kind of the fail safes. I feel like, to kind of make up for that, right? Which is like joining the scheduled class, joining the book club that meets regularly. You kind of are forcing that. You're forcing and then enforcing the discipline.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I just got a text last night from my Vistage chair, Joe Sadler, saying, "Hey, how's it going on those things that you're working on?" Which I explicitly told him. I asked him,
"I need this from you.
Can you please text me to check in?" Yeah.
That's great.
Are you an internal or an external accountability person?
Probably a little bit of a combination. Probably more on the external. I always say, like my wife and I really are good at having parties because it forces us to do all the things that we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of almost like manufacture things that then force us to do the things that we're supposed to do.
I love that. There's nothing better than a deadline, right?
Yep. So I like to impose deadlines on myself on things, even if I'm just making them up.
So random fun fact about doing your house. So my wife and I were on an episode of House Hunters when we lived in Virginia.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And, they come back 3 months later.
Can we find it like on Hulu or something like that?
Yeah, it's out there.
So
yeah.
what is it? What's the episode?
I think it's a DC couple ponders a move out of the city, or I think that's what it was.
Okay.
It's a title is something like that. It's out there in the world. It exists. It is a far younger.
Well, I hope that
Brendan.
Daniel or that one of our editors can find this.
But they come back, and so there were things that we wanted to do to the house, and it gave us that accountability of, okay, we have to have these things done because we're gonna have a camera crew here.
Yeah.
In a couple of months.
Okay, so how does that whole thing work? So expose the inner workings.
Well, it's all fake.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that it's fake. Again, this is kind of like another nod to Improv, where so we never wanted to be on the show.
Okay.
Which probably will drive some people crazy because they probably wanted to be on House Hunters their entire lives. Our realtor did some work for HGTV. They were part of Discovery, which is headquartered up in Bethesda, Maryland. It's Bethesda. And he said they're looking for families for the show. They asked me if I knew anyone, and they said, "Hey, if you know anyone that's pregnant, that'd be great." We're looking for that storyline. And so Kelly was 7 months pregnant with our eldest, Elizabeth. And so
we want her pregnant and we want her showing.
right. We want her visible. So we put in an application, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to have you on the show." And we're like, "Well, that's great, but we just closed on our house." Like, that's great. It actually makes things easier. And we'd already done a bunch of demo. So when we recorded it, our first day we recorded in our old place in DC.
Okay.
And then the second day we toured 2 or 3 other places that were listings of our realtor.
Okay.
One of the conditions of touring that was we weren't allowed to badmouth it too much. Like the family that owned it were like, "You can use our house, but they can't trash it."
Right? Yeah, right.
and then we did a half day at the last house, which was the one that we had already owned. So the show doesn't really work if you don't already, because there's so many wild cards when you're looking to buy a place.
Sure.
Right. Like if it falling through or the financing or whatever. So, but it was fun. I mean, we have this period of our life that's documented, right? Like we loved our little apartment in Adams Morgan. So to have that in perpetuity, and then, they come back when Elizabeth's 3 months old and she's this adorable little chunky baby that we have.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So although when we watched it, first off, it's on reruns for 6 years. So every time it would air, I'd get Facebook messages. Like, "I just saw you." I mean, it's shocking how many people watch that show. And then our realtor's like, "Oh yeah, they're going to furnish a living room. They're going to do all this stuff. We got a check for $500." And the amount of ad revenue that they get from that, I'm sure far exceeds.
Oh, that's funny.
But it was a cool process. It was fun. I mean, you go through these houses and you have to, if you've done house hunting, everyone kind of reacts in a similar way, and you talk about certain things. And so,
oh yeah.
But like, you'll do it once and they'll have you come back in and, can you mention this a little bit more? Or can you mention that? And, if you touch a cabinet, they want to do a specific shot of your hand on it so they can do the cutaway. It's all.
Oh, that's cool.
It's an interesting process.
I always think it's just so funny. Like, if you're to go over to somebody's house for a party, you're not nitpicking it, right? You're just going over there enjoying the people's company. I mean, if the house is cool, of course you say, "Oh, this is such a cool house." Or whatever. I guess if it's totally filthy, you might be thinking some negative things. But generally, I'm not walking into somebody's house and judging. But you want to turn yourself into a jerk, walk into a house thinking you're going to buy it, and it's like, oh my gosh, how do these people live with this?
Right? It's like this weird switch that all of a sudden we turn into these
and
critics.
It does it to everybody.
Yeah.
Like everybody turns into it. It's just so judgy and it cracks me up. It's like, what is that? What do you think that is in the human psyche that forces us to get all crazy? Is it like a self-preservation type of thing? Or?
I think it's different when you look at it from the mindset of this is going to be my home, right? Like, I think... No, that's a really interesting thing about the psyche, right? Like, I love thinking about abundance and scarcity, right? Like, abundance is really important to me. I think I value being around people who think abundantly. And I think when you go into someone's home, you're thinking abundantly, right? Like, I'm here for this event. We're going to be together. It's going to be this warm thing. And I think when you're looking for a home, you're looking, I mean, this is a very...
Like there's some finality to the decision that you're about to make here.
So it's got to be right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was funny. My boys spend a lot of time in our bonus room, and I have one of those massage chairs, Panasonic massage chairs up there. So I was walking up there to use it the other night, and we actually just had the whole house painted. And I don't think we had this one particular door done. And I looked at it and I thought, if I was looking at this house, I would be judging these people so hard. So I know we have to have that door and the trim around it painted, but I'm thinking, but the boys come up here and they're just putting hands all over it, knocking stuff into it. Yeah. It's like, I think there was a blue mark of a pool cue stick. And I'm like, the basement is like 80 feet away from here. Where the pool table is. I'm like, how did we get a blue mark on this door?
And Kelly and I have this conversation all the time of like, okay, do we need to repaint this hallway? Do we need to whatever? And it's like, well, or do we need to get a new couch? Like, okay, but is it just going to get trashed by our kids? Right? I mean, they're older now, but they're still, they're still good at trashing things. Correct. Yeah.
Even if they don't mean to.
They're well-intentioned.
Couple things that coming up for me, I wrote a couple of notes. You kind of talked about this whole doing better and better all the time. That kind of desire to with everything that you do, you're kind of on that trek. And you've mentioned the $1 Million Roundtable a few times, and you mentioned it to me the other day. I don't think I totally know what it is. Can you explain that?
Sure.
What it is and
so the $1 Million
Roundtable
So the $1 Million Roundtable is so it's an association. It's considered the premier association for financial services professionals. Okay. It was founded, if not 100 years, close to 100 years ago, particularly in the life insurance industry. And it is an organization that you have always had to qualify for as a member. Back then in the early 1900s, to qualify for, you had to place $1 million of death benefit. Which, when people are getting $1,000 policy, or maybe, I'm sure a $5,000 might have been extravagant. Placing $1 million, that's significant impact.
Got it.
In the world. So,
whereas now everybody's got $1 million.
You can go online and get, go on any online, store and get one. So it's still an organization you have to qualify for. You can qualify for it based on premium placed or commissions earned or income. And so it's expanded because the financial services industry has obviously expanded beyond life insurance to investments and wealth management and disability insurance and long-term care and annuities, all these different things. But so my dad was president of the $1 Million Roundtable, or MDRT, in 1981. So
nationwide or worldwide?
Yeah, it's an international organization.
Okay.
So we have, I'm going to murder the exact number. It's anywhere from 90 to 95,000 members around the world. Actually, the majority of our membership is in Asia now.
Okay.
And, but so it's always been a part of my life. I always was aware of this organization. I remember going to meetings with my mom and dad. And when I got into the business, that was the benchmark. If you can qualify for MDRT on a year-by-year basis, you are going to be successful in the industry. So that was always my goal that I was striving for. And so I think my third year in the business was when I first qualified for MDRT. I've only missed one meeting, annual meeting in my career. And what I love about MDRT is that it is an organization that's built around abundance. Its purpose is to make its members better, and not just better salespeople or advisors, but better humans, better philanthropists, better owners, better team members. And it's hard not to love an organization that has that kind of ethos.
Yeah, sure.
Back in the 60s, they developed the whole person concept, which was work-life balance when work-life balance didn't exist. Listen, you can't just be an insurance advisor. You need to be a good husband, good father, and good partner in your community. So I think an organization that has had that mindset for that long is doing something right. And they just continue. I mean, they have this amazing foundation where as an MDRT member, you can sponsor a nonprofit that you're passionate about or involved with for a grant. So I could never, as an MDRT member, I could never contribute $1 to the foundation, but I could sponsor a nonprofit that I care about for a grant, and it could be awarded a grant in that year.
Oh, no kidding.
So I've sponsored, you can do it every other year. So I just sponsored a group called Kevin Song that does suicide prevention and awareness, and also resources for families who have lost someone to suicide. And they just got a $7,500 grant from the MDRT Foundation, which is going to have a huge impact. So it's just, I've made some of my best friends through that, through MDRT, these amazing relationships. It's, expanded to, having a study group there, and just people that have helped push me, because it's what I mentioned before about external accountability. If left to my own advices, I will stick to the status quo, right? Because it's just easier. And there's that old adage that if you're not growing, you're dying. So to have an organization that can be a part of, where someone's always just checking in, and we can check in on each other. And, we have this MDRT Fit Club now where we're focused on fitness and health. And there's a group of us that are all Whoop wearers, and we have our own Whoop group that sees how we're doing on any given basis. So it's cool, because it's a wonderful group of people that are, that always have each other's back. So, and we're always looking to grow the fold. So
I would imagine you'd advise people to try to find a group like that fits them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And they've got a great code of ethics. So if you are looking for someone in the financial services world and you see that they're MDRT member, that they're putting their clients first.
Great. Let's talk about the industry that you're in. You told me it's high need, low demand.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, boy, sounds like technology and cybersecurity.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from the fact that AI has been obviously inspiring the phone to ring a little differently, right? That people are kind of proactively reaching out for it. But let's compare notes on what a high need, low demand means. And so why is that like that in the insurance world?
Well, how many people want to talk about life insurance, disability insurance, or long-term care, right? Like, who really wants to talk about
all the
their
guys
demise?
In the MDRT? Those are the guys.
Yeah. But on any given day, I mean, if you when I think about our clients and their advisory teams, they typically have attorneys, they have accountants, they have, they might have a wealth advisor who's managing their money. But usually someone like us is one of the last people. Even their estate planning attorney might be the last one, because it's just an uncomfortable conversation. And I was just talking to a friend who's an estate planning attorney, and we were laughing about how when people are done, when we've crossed the finish line, when we've got their planning in place, they usually go out and have a drink and celebrate. Right? This thing that they've been putting off.
There's a piece to it, right?
Yeah. There's peace of mind knowing that, okay, this is something that we have, and we checked off our to-do list, but that's not the end of the story. When I tell clients is when their policy is in place, that is the beginning of the relationship, not the end of the relationship. Everything before was just the preamble. because what they have is not something that gets set on a shelf and discarded. It's got to be reviewed and updated and kept up to date and make sure that it's still relevant to what they want to do. But at the same time, everyone feels like they're the last people on their block to address these kinds of things. And the reality is they're usually the first. But I think there's that internal, and again, maybe this is just me, but when I'm avoiding something, I just keep pushing it off because there's this, angst and anxiety of
why do today what you can put off until tomorrow?
Exactly. So, that I think that's why it's a high need, low demand is, the statistics around people being underinsured or uninsured in the United States are staggering. Same thing with estate planning. I think it's something like 72% of Americans don't have an estate plan.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's there, right?
Is that because of money, or is it because they don't realize it, or is it that whole thing like you talked about your dad, thinking he was invincible or immortal? Like what is it?
I think some people think that, especially for an estate plan, I think they don't think that they need it because they're not wealthy, right? But everyone needs an estate plan in some case, right? Like you might not be subject to an estate tax, but you have, like, if it's the biggest risk for a lot of folks is not if they die, it's what happens if you don't die. Do you have an advanced medical directive? Do you have power of attorney? Do you have, what happens to your kids? Do you have a guardian? Do you have, what are all of these things? But it's the same thing with life insurance, where a lot of people will think, well, I have what I need through work. Same thing so life insurance, disability insurance are huge ones. I'm good. I get what I get through work. But how many people know how their group benefits actually are designed? And is it enough? A lot of people with life insurance say, oh, I just need $1 million. Okay, but how do you come up with that number? What is that going to do? And when people think about, well, do you want to pay off the mortgage? Do you want to create education for your kids? Do you want to replace your income? That number changes pretty quickly. Same thing when you're thinking about your business. What kind of succession plan you place? What happens to you? What happens to your business? What happens to your employees if you're not there? Do you have liquidity for a runway? Do you have, and a lot of people will think, well, I'm good. I've got this policy that I got 20 years ago, but is that still enough? Even, people that are sole business owners, Kelly and I were talking about this the other day. Like, even I don't have all of the things lined up that I need to do, that if something happened to me, we know where everything is and we have everything set in place, right? Like, I have the insurance side of that done, but there's a lot of the details of our banking accounts and the business bank accounts and passwords and all of those things. So, yeah.
Wow.
But again, people would much rather talk about the Michigan game than they would, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We're seeing a lot of that with, with AI. Excuse me. We're seeing a lot of that with AI, is the hot topic in technology, and we're talking about it with everybody, and and we're helping people to get into leveraging it for their business. But there's the reminder of you have to talk about the cybersecurity elements of this as well. And of course, nobody really wants to talk about that, right? Sure, it's a hot topic, but it's not. It's just like the life insurance, right? Like, I don't want to be imagining that.
What's the high need, low demand space for you guys there?
Well, the high need is that there's actually about 4 or 5 critical required items for cybersecurity nowadays. And 99% of the business leaders that you show them to, they go, I just don't know if I need that much stuff. And you're going, no, this is the new table stakes. These are the non-negotiables. If you don't have it, you're literally naked. Yeah. And so then you add an AI into your business with any levels of automation where you have other systems now able to control other systems, and your risk factors just went up even more. Yeah. And so I think that's the high need, is that everybody needs these 5 to 6 things. And the belief system is that, no, I don't think it matters. I've got antivirus, right? Or I don't go to those kind of websites, or my people don't really, my people are smart. They don't
right? I think I keep updating it.
Yeah. And so, that's really the primary piece. it's the unsexy side of IT, right? Cybersecurity and infrastructure are the unsexy side of IT. Do you want to go buy a new server? Do you want to migrate to the cloud? No, you want to go to the $1 million roundtable. You want to go spend time talking to your clients. You don't want to be thinking about this stuff. So it's very similar to the life insurance world or just the insurance world in general.
Yeah. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. And on IT, is that something that you think people, do people want to talk about it or do they not want, are they avoiding it?
I think most of them are avoiding it. I mean, the time where we know we get 100% conversion rate is when somebody's in the middle of an incident, meaning a cybersecurity incident or an outage incident. That's when they want to talk about it. And there's so many things that you can do to prevent those things from happening. And there's so many companies that are sitting right on the bubble of one stiff breeze away from being shut down operations for hours or days or weeks. And terrifying. So that's, so that is terrifying. And we see it happen. And, I think that, it's just like the insurance world, on the property and casualty side, right? Those guys have the stories. We have the stories, and you have the stories on the life side, right? Where it's like, hey, so-and-so was underinsured or not insured at all. And this is what happens. And so it's tough because you don't want to be a fear peddler, right? I mean, that's not the way to live in abundance, the abundance mindset, the abundance lifestyle. But you have to be a reality preacher too.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to meet the people where they are on their journey.
Yeah. And I think it's, I've always thought it's just asking the right questions. Mm-hmm. And then, sometimes in our world, right? Like, even though there's a lot of folks who need us, but don't want to talk about it, it's not always the right time. Mm-hmm. That's okay too. Right. Yep. I mean, we're not here to force people to do anything. So yeah.
It's funny. When you said it's all about asking the right questions, I remembered that you were recently at a Sandler sales conference.
I was.
Okay. Let's talk about that because I think that's the most interesting thing about selling to me, and especially the Sandler sales training, is that it's really about questions.
Yeah. Right? I've been really fortunate to have been introduced. So going back to accountability through my Vistage group, when I hired an advisor years ago, they gave me really good advice to not train them myself and to outsource that. And I got referred to Eric Meyer at Sandler Training in Troy. And I mean, it's just been a great relationship. And, I, from my Northwestern training, thought, well, I don't need more sales training. They gave me 5 years of training and development. Which is not an abundance mindset, right? You should always be able to grow and learn. And just especially in the service industry, or in a service industry, I think Sandler's a really good fit. And I'm not here to advertise for them, but because it's a consultative process, it reduces pressure from our clients all on the process. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I can get feedback from a potential client who will say, man, I really like your process. Mm-hmm. I will be, thank you very much. It is Sandler sales. That's where I've gotten my training. And, so I'm always comfortable introducing people to any Sandler office around the country. But the summit was really interesting. Eric had been talking to me for a while about going. And so it was great. They had a lot of really good speakers. They had a lot of good external speakers and internal speakers. I learned a lot about incorporating AI into sales processes and the power of it. And yeah, it's, I've always, so starting with MDRT, my dad always told me that if you can implement one thing from a meeting, it was worth the cost of it. And so, that I was on the airplane on the way back and I was on my Remarkable and I was writing down the things that I wanted to do. So first was we got set up on our AI meeting tool, which is up and running. And so
talk about that. How are you guys leveraging AI?
So we use Zox. So it took us a while. We have a lot of compliance rules because we have, there's a security side of what we do in the insurance business. And so Zox is particularly designed for the financial services industry. So we have that now set up for our virtual meetings. They also have an app so that I can record in person and it will do meeting summaries, prepare a follow-up email for the meeting participants. And then it also ties to our CRM. I don't know about you, but I'm terrible about my CRM. So it will take pertinent information and it'll auto-generate for our CRM, which just like the idea of not having to think about that is amazing. But where they're doing it for compliance purposes is the transcript of the recording only exists for 48 hours, and then it's deleted from everyone's servers. So we get to save the actual notes that Zox creates for 2 years. I mean, once we have it, we're going to put it in our CRM and have it all there. But that way, anything that's client-sensitive data is gone.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
So it's got a data retention policy built in.
So that, and then, I have a Cloud account and an OpenAI account where I go on and work on things. And just in the early stages where I definitely want to start developing more automation through AI agents. But that's, that's a step-by-step process. I did have fun with Claude though, just saying like, hey, what do you need to know about me and my business? Now, obviously I signed up for a business account for security purposes. And, but what do you need to know to be a good partner?
Yeah, there's some fantastic power in that. I've been using it so heavily that I'm into and I just made a post on it today, running into hitting the limits multiple times a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
what's the limit?
I don't know what the exact limit is, but I know that it tells me that I've hit it.
Yeah.
And so
as far as like
too much usage.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It's leveraging too many tokens.
Yeah.
And what it's allowing me, I mean, I can pay for extra tokens. So the plan is not unlimited.
Yeah.
We're going to start to see more and more of that they're restricting that. I mean, Sora was taken away because it was just eating up too much data consumption.
And how much AI slop video do we actually need on the internet?
Exactly. We don't we need no more. But there's different architectures that you can put together to actually save a lot of the details kind of behind the scenes and have them referencing back and forth as opposed to always trying to churn through the same amount of information. And so, so we've got some really cool things going on with that to preserve the usage and to be able to make it portable because, it's not guaranteed that, that Claude will be the forerunner forever.
Who's going to win, right?
Microsoft eventually, I think the joke is Microsoft will eventually win. Right.
Probably Microsoft and Alphabet, most likely, right?
We could be wrong, but these other guys could take over the world. But yeah,
it's an interesting. Truly, it's like a race where you can see like who's leading.
Really wild.
It's so cool. It's
really
fascinating to watch.
I think it's fascinating to watch too. Also, like from our age group because we got to see the .com.
Yeah.
Bubble and everything happened. So it's like, I think we're watching kind of pragmatically of going, okay, what's going to drop in all this? And then what's just going to explode?
And we're that weird cusper generation, right? Like you're 78, I'm 79, right? Like we're that like exennial.
I'm 77.
Or 77. Okay.
Yeah.
But where we grew up in an analog world,
yes,
but we're early digital adapters.
Yes.
Right. And that's a very unique role, right? Like we're if there's technology that's going to help us, we're going to dive into it,
right?
But we're also a little skeptical just by being Gen X, like the Gen X part of us of like, okay,
we actually grew up with encyclopedias, right?
Yeah,
for a while.
I think my encyclopedia is still on the bookshelf in my mom's house. The old shout out to World Book Encyclopedia.
Oh, Britannica, baby.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
It looks great on the bookshelf, right? Those thick bindings and everything.
Yeah. And to think remember, wasn't it like rumored like Elon Musk, didn't he read all of them cover to cover?
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
That's what I thought I heard. So maybe that's what we should have done.
That's good lore though. I totally remember like scrolling through the encyclopedia.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. When somebody had an encyclopedia, that was the rich family that had the encyclopedias.
Right.
My brother just sent a reel about that and was like talking about what the rich family had the water on the door of the refrigerator.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff.
Or they had the garbage disposal, like the
trash compactor.
Trash compactor.
Yeah, that thing was pretty cool.
Especially if you put a piece of glass in there and just waited for it to
pop. Oh, I never did that.
No, of course not.
So, let's wrap up a little bit here with, your whole kind of life, faith, community stuff. Obviously you've talked so much about the different communities you're involved in, but you are involved in Christ Church and in Detroit, Grosse Pointe border there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of homeless folks in that, right at that border there. And there's a lot of outreach done there. So want to talk about that a little bit?
So we're a member of Christ Church Grosse Pointe, which is actually in the heart of Grosse Pointe Farms. We're not on the
why am I
border.
thinking the one? I thought it was the one on Maross and 94 there.
That's Grace Community Church.
Grace Community Church. Okay.
Yeah. So Christ Church Episcopal is on Grosse Pointe Boulevard and the Farms, right next to Grosse Pointe South.
Okay.
They do a lot of wonderful outreach as well. So with a lot of different community partners. So one of them is Crossroads of Michigan. Dr. Joseph Daniel Host, who's the executive director there, actually was actually my very first podcast guest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they provide really valuable resources for the unhoused community in Detroit. And they've provided warm meals on Sundays every Sunday, I think with the exception of one or two during COVID, for decades. But they also provide, since their start, helping the unhoused get documents that they need to exist. So if they need to get a new driver's license or a birth certificate or just some, so we partner with them. There's the Karsten's Literacy Initiative in Detroit. That's been a great partner of ours. We've done work with East Jefferson Inc. in there's a lot of really terrible flooding. If you remember, 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. The whole Jefferson Chalmers area is technically below the water line. And so they had really, really bad flooding, and there's just, families that just don't have a lot of resources to be able to replace things and mediate mold. So, and then just, we're always looking for more ways that we can have a good positive impact on the community. So, I'm fortunate. I served on the vestry, which is kind of like the board of the church, it was 10 years ago. And then, I just rolled onto the vestry this year. So I'm starting a new term there. So just excited. We're getting ready to open up a new early education school in the church, which I'm really excited about. Also serve as the chair of their investment committee. And so, but actively involved, sing in the chorale there. My kids sing in the choir. I teach Sunday school. Okay. So, yeah. Great.
So I'm still doing.
We just had Easter.
I'm trying to do the math here, and I'm going. When do you sleep? Right, because you got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of groups. Running the business.
Sleep's a big deal for me. I still get 7 to 9 hours a night. So
good job.
My Whoop told me last night I needed 8.5. I got 8, but still I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I had a 99% sleep score last night.
Nice, good work.
I was really, really pleased.
Yeah,
but it's funny. I was the guy that would. I was the guy that would drive through the night or do whatever. And, now I'm very regimented on my sleep.
Yeah.
And it's the new flex, I think.
Oh, for sure. Everyone's talking about. So this part of it was when I saw Dan Miller through Vistage. Did you ever get to see Dan Miller?
No, I was actually sick the day that Dan came, but Dan has a new person who,
yes.
Oh shoot, I forgot her name. I'll find it. But Sprawn, can't remember her last name, but she was fantastic. And I got to see her just recently.
I saw Dan in 2019 and totally changed my life.
Okay.
So
let's talk real quick about that. That's a great place to end for people who have made it all the way through to the end of this episode.
Well, his whole thing is we're, genetically the same as we were 20,000 years ago. Your life is sped up at a rate faster than we can adapt to it genetically. Mm-hmm. And to live a longer, healthier life, you should manage in order: stress, sleep, water, what you eat, how you exercise, what he calls anti-fragility, which is essentially saunas, and then having a why around why you do it. And what I enjoyed about what he shared was there were a handful of things in each of those areas that I could implement and have an impact. And yeah, I mean, it just made me a far healthier person. It's not like I was out of shape before, but I lost weight. My cholesterol went down. I've been sleeping better. I've been feeling healthier. I hardly get sick anymore.
Did you implement the sauna? Did you buy a sauna?
I did. We bought one of the bag saunas that we have in the house, and then I used the one at the Detroit Athletic Club. But so try to manage stress as much as possible. Try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. You saw my massive water bottle. This is my barometer. I have usually 4 of these is 32 ounces.
Okay.
I have 4 of these a day. I have for 6 years now. I don't think there's been a day that I've had less than that.
Fantastic.
Try to eat healthy. 70% of what I eat, try to be fruits and vegetables. Protein, try to do the less legs, the better. So prioritize plant, fish, fowl, then everything else after that.
The less legs, the better.
The less legs, the better. And then exercise has just become kind of a part of my life. So that's actually kind of the easier one now. So just a mix between cardiovascular work and strength and mobility.
And you're working with a trainer?
No,
coach,
not right now.
Coach,
I do classes at the DAC. We just did a 9-week-long Edge team fitness challenge where we had a coach to work on things, but it's actually really cool. I've been using Whoop for 3 weeks now.
Okay.
And it helped me design a workout schedule for the week.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. They asked like, what goals would you have? And what do you have? Do you have a gym? Do you have stuff at home? And so it laid it out day by day with even like lifting regimens that I could do. And try.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So Dan was great. So I try to get in the sauna 3 days a week for at least 20 minutes, just the data around what that does for health. And then the easy part. I want to live a long, healthy life. I mean, I want to get out to 120 so I can see my great grandkids.
Wonderful.
And be moving when I'm doing it.
You cold plunging?
I do. I haven't in a long time. Cause a lot of my training has been around, strength training, and there's data that says that you shouldn't lift and then get in the cold plunge.
Correct.
So, the other thing is time, in that, I'll do 5 minutes in the cold plunge, but then it takes me like 15 minutes to warm up naturally.
Right.
And I'm usually doing it after a workout. So it's finding, are you cold plunging?
Mm-hmm.
I love it when I do it.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is like the mental acuity?
It's unbelievable.
Like you just can't describe it. And like
and the calm, the calmness is it's the only thing that totally resets me.
It's wild. It's so cool. For me, it's hockey. Hockey's like my favorite meditation time.
Okay.
Hour to hour and a half. Can't think about anything else in the world. Totally saved my life when my dad was dying. Like that was my sacred time of like, I'm going to get on the ice and I can't think about anything else.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, so I think you've taught us a bit here.
Oh, well, thanks.
Get better and better every day. Always working on that. Positive mentality, the optimistic lifestyle. Dan Miller, Sandler, external accountability. I think we nailed about 32 topics here today.
Awesome. Love it.
Good job.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Well, I think people will be interested in watching this. I'm glad we did it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, likewise. This episode of the BLTNT podcast is sponsored by Auxium, business IT and cybersecurity designed to outsmart chaos. Empowered by Juniper Networks. Automate your network with Juniper Networks and the Mist AI platform, the world's first AI-driven wired and wireless network.